What's going on? First stream in a while, and I apologize. Look, my internet is crap. It will continue to be crap for at least a couple of weeks because it's where I am. I'm in temporary housing. They're gonna get more internet now because they're gonna say F you. That's the internet we're providing. And that's all I have. That's literally all I have. Right now, I'm supposed to move. UK is going to a national lockdown, so pray for me. But supposed to move around the 15th, 16th of November. Once I move, I already told them, like, yo, give me whatever your shitty, fastest internet you have. Give me that crap. I want that now. And once that is hacked, I'm going to be back here on a regular. I'm going to be uploading on a regular. I tried to upload, guys, true story. I tried to upload a video, and it said it was going to take 26 hours. And I said, F that. 26 hours? There's no way. There's no way I'm going to have this shit because you know it's coming down. As soon as that's 26 hours, it will crash. So I said, you know what? I cannot upload. I just can't. I cannot. Right now, my upload doesn't get to one. So hopefully this image is halfway decent, right? And but if not, my guy, which I'm going to introduce, he will have good internet. And you can, ask questions. And I will be trying to keep up. So let's give them a welcome to SCG Sports Channel, Mr. Tony. What up, bro?
Hey, how's it going? Don't listen. But first of all, your internet right now looks great. So, you got your internet is it's hopefully for the next 30 minutes we can hold up. We can have a nice conversation here. Big game today, huge game. Steelers Ravens part 1, maybe part 1 of 3. We'll see. These are two good teams. Certainly going to make the playoffs in January. Could meet up again. This could be part 1 of a 3-part series.
Let me say this too. I told my daughters, like, don't stream. Can you please not stream for now? Let me not stream for now.
Just 30 minutes. But, 30 minutes of this, and then you're good to go.
I said, please, just wait it out. Just wait it out. Right? just give me this. Go. I said, like, we'll stream in one TV. Here's a movie. I think they're watching oh man, it's a Disney movie. It's old.
Frozen.
No. Haunted Mansion. No, because it's during the Halloween.
Okay. Yeah, there you
go. Haunted Mansion. Here's popcorn. Here's candy. An hour. That's all. It's just an hour. Just an hour. Anyway, shout out to everybody that is here. I appreciate it again. We have 12 people. I know I haven't streamed in a while. But Gamer God, Baltimore Boy, Devin Dukes, Paul, Venomous Raven. I saw some Poon Gentry, Sean Abrams, and one, and everybody that is here. Again, I appreciate it. But let's go. We're going to talk here, preview game, Steelers Ravens, right? And if you haven't been in the AFCNorth talk, I don't know what you're doing. You should go. Hit that subscribe button because it's a great show. But here we're going to have 30 minutes of back and forth between me and Tony. So, saying this, I'm going to go right out and say, Tony, I think the Ravens win. I give up a couple things in the AFC North, but there was one thing after Thursday that I could think of, and I was like, there is one matchup that I think the Ravens can exploit heavily, and I want to give it to you. Sure. And it's a rookie. So it's a rookie, but it's J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is great in the passing game. They haven't been using it as much because of Mark Ingram. Mm-hmm. But no Devin Bush. J.K. Dobbins is a fast, slippery running back. Also small, which is when they're in the open field, it's hard to tackle those small guys because they're used to having a bigger target when the safeties and the linebackers and all that. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to see a heavy dose of J.K. Dobbins today, especially in the passing game. How do you think the Steelers can combat that?
It's tough because they lost Devin Bush. So, it's a wide open question. I mean, Derrick Henry is not, widely used in the Titans passing game. I don't know what his numbers were last week. I don't imagine he had a big game of the passing game last week, right? And so, that's where Robert Spillane is going to be asked to go out of his comfort zone a little bit. I don't imagine the Steelers are going to have a widely different game plan in this game from a personnel standpoint than they did in the last couple of weeks. I think they want to stay in a base defense. That's their best run defense. And this Baltimore offense, I think, with the way Lamar is playing right now, is going to want to stay, a run-heavy attack. That's what they do. It's certainly going to challenge. I think it's going to challenge Spillane. It's going to challenge Vince Williams to be better about covering running backs out of the backfield, something that Devin Bush has actually done pretty well throughout this year. I think the other matchup is you look at Mark Andrews and what he presents there, and how many times can they get Spillane or Vince Williams, in that matchup, and not Terrell Edmonds, who has had a pretty good year covering tight ends this year. So, Devin Bush is a huge loss for this team. And this is the game where that should show up, right? If there's going to be a gigantic drop-off between Devin Bush and Robert Spillane, this is, of course, the matchup it'll show up in. And so we shall see. But I think you're right in saying that if the Ravens try to exploit the running back out of the backfield and try to push Vince Williams and Robert Spillane to be more sideline-to-sideline type players, they could definitely have success doing so.
Yeah, so I would say I think this is a matchup that the Ravens need to exploit. They need to. I'm not talking about screens, not the screens. Then that takes away what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you make the running back go out flat, curl, a hitch in. You need to get the running back isolated with that linebacker, right? Yeah. Because right now, if they see the running back leaking out, they're not gonna put a good cover guy. At least not at the beginning. Because they have to worry about Lamar running, right? So that's where the eyes are gonna be in. So I'm expecting read option, and if they go with Lamar, the running back to leak out in a flat, and hopefully, like I said, be wide open there. And at that point, J.K. Dobbins is super slippery and create some yardage. So that's one matchup I'm thinking for the Ravens. One thing that I'm extremely concerned about the Ravens is that inside O-line, and I brought this up on Thursday, right? Yeah. So on Thursday, I said, inside Hargraves and not Hargraves, I'm sorry, Tuitt and your other boy.
Hayward, yeah.
Hayward, thank you. Yeah. Hayward. Those two concern me more than T.J. Watt and Bud, because there's two things that are true. My tackles are fairly good. Check. Second, if they over pursue like they do with a normal quarterback, that creates lanes on the outside, all right? Yeah. And then Lamar can just go outside and run. So I think what the Steelers will do, and not every play, obviously, but for the most part, try to create a bubble around Lamar and try, if not outside rush with speed, unless they just completely beat the tackle, it's more try to push those tackles in to create that bubble. Again, I think my tackles are going to be fairly good because Orlando Brown sometimes struggles with speed. But again, that will be speed on the outside. And if T.A. Watt's going to take a wide angle, I think Lamar can step up that way, right? So saying all that, interior D-line for you guys is strong. I ranked the Steelers number 1 in the offseason for the division on the D-line. And they have proven it, right? So I actually don't know how the Ravens are going to handle them. I'm hoping. My center, with a bye week, had a coming to Jesus moment, and he plays better. That's all I have. Yeah. That's literally all I have. He says, I'm 100%. I'm like, dude, if you're 100%, you're trash. I tweeted this. I said, like, if you're 100%, you're trash. Yeah. I was like, yo. So, anyway, the other thing I think, not only that, is blitzing. Look, I'm sure the Steelers want Lamar to pass and not to run.
Right.
And one way to do it is pressure Lamar so that he can get the ball out quick. Blitzing to the middle, again, that middle of the O-line being soft, blitzing to the middle.
Yeah.
It's going to provoke him to go quick because it's hard. As soon as you go there, if the pressure's coming quick, it's no going out. Right, it's not, even how fast Lamar is, it's none. Right, so that's not on Lamar, that's more on the O-line. So, how do you expect? What is your expectations for the Steelers' game plan coming up on this matchup?
Well, I think
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was watching this yesterday. I watched the first matchup between the Steelers and Ravens yesterday, and so last year, and so it was interesting to see the Steelers' game plan in that one because it was it wasn't so much about Devin Bush being a spy to Lamar or anything like that. He pretty much was playing in coverage a lot, and they're not going to have that luxury today. So you have to imagine, would that be Spillane in coverage this year? And you talk about the pass rush. I think it's a key to this game. And how many times, the Steelers want to bring 5 a lot, right? They have this blitz heavy look that they don't consider a blitz because the Steelers consider a normal pass rush for them to be 5 players coming at the.
And by the way, I consider that too. If you bring me when the Ravens bring 5. Yeah, I don't consider that a blitz. For me, a blitz starts at 6 when you have one man more than the line. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, but and the reason for this, right? And Keith Butler talked about this in an article that was written by The Athletic a couple weeks back, where he said, "Look, if we bring 5 and they don't have anyone else in to protect, if it's a 5-man O-line versus our 5, well, then we have one-on-one matchups, and we love all of our pass rushers. So when you're talking about T.J. Watt getting a one-on-one, when you talk about Bud Dupree getting a one-on-one, or even Tuitt or Hayward getting one-on-ones, those are advantageous matchups for the Steelers. And so that's where they want to get their penetration. That's why they're so successful. They have the highest pressure rate in the NFL. But in this game, you talked about it as far as like, hey, you don't want to get speed rushes at the quarterback because, Lamar steps up and you're done, right? I mean, so much of the pass rush in this game is not going to be just about getting to Lamar, but containing Lamar in the pocket. Make him be a pocket thrower. It's what the Steelers tried to do last year. And look, in watching that game, one thing that was interesting is that Lamar definitely felt it at times, felt like he didn't have rushing lanes to go to, but his head still went down after his first read wasn't there. And I want to see how much of that, obviously this is early in the year last year before really Lamar was playing at the spectacular level that we saw him later on in the year. So interesting to see the growth of Lamar and how he handles this defense in basically what is a round 2 for him. But I think you're right. I think pass rush is a big key for the Steelers because if they can get to they sacked him 5 times last year. They made him a little bit uncomfortable. He still had some success as he would. But if they can make him uncomfortable and they can keep this Ravens offense, this Ravens offense hasn't reached its peak this year. It's not even close to what it was a year ago. And if they can make it uncomfortable and keep it in a situation where they're in the 20s, I think the Steelers have a good chance to win.
Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button. And also remember AFC North Talk. Here's Tony, my co-host from the AFC North Talk. And shout out to M. Raven, Baltimore Boys, Sean Ebron, Thomas Lindsay, and Lunch Break Hot Takes. Shout out to all of you. And thank you for your live stream. Okay, so continue with the conversation. This is the thing. If the Steelers start blitzing, that will prevent my first point. That running back will leak unless then you can be clever enough. Then the screen pass becomes lethal, right?
Yeah.
But this is what I've been saying to some of you guys that have been DMing me. I said, you're like, oh my God, TJ Watt, Bud Dupree's playing insanely. I said, yes, but what they do good is something that they cannot do in this game consistently because then Lamar will have lanes on the outside. There's no question. And in a normal pocket passer, yes, right? TJ Watt, excellent. You guys know I rave about TJ Watt. And Bud Dupree, I used to say that he wasn't good, but from last year, he come to recently. He became a good player, and he's been playing really, really good. But both of them, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, both of them tend to win with speed, right? You had 2 different types of pass rushers. The ones that win with speed and the ones that win with bull rush or with strength. And then you have the very, very, very few that can do both, and those are insanely good. That's the Myles Garrett type of guys that they can do speed, they can do strength, right? Yeah. That's Mac. I mean, we're talking about 3 or 4 players. Now, I think T.J. Watt is top of the league pass rusher, and I do this strong, but he tends to win in speed. Tony, do you agree?
I think the majority of the time he wins the speed, but he can win in a lot of different ways. I mean, he goes speed to power. He will fake the speed and go inside. I mean, he's this is why he's a double-digit sack guy. It's why he's considered to be a defensive player of the year. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the Bud Dupree point, right? Bud Dupree has primarily been a speed rusher. Now, when you talk about the power, though, the power comes from the inside, and the 2 guys that are going to overpower the interior are the interior of this line. Yeah, I mean, Cam Hayward and specifically is maybe the strongest defensive lineman outside of Aaron Donald. And then you look at Stephon Tuitt, and he can win a bunch of different ways. He likes to be, one of the things about him is he can be a little wild card in the running game because he likes to abandon his gap because he wants to get upfield so much. So I think you're right in saying that Bud Dupree may be limited in this game because of the fact that he can't just go speed every play. He's got to play a little bit more within himself and make sure he's playing contained first. But I don't imagine it's gonna be a huge problem for Watt on the other side, who can do it in a multitude of ways.
I agree. So the reason why I brought the outside rusher was, I think the Ravens, usually you run on your right side, right? You run on your right side, your power side. I actually think this week they're gonna try to test how Dupree's oh my God, how you say this? Not focus, but discipline. How disciplined he will be. That's where the read option, in my opinion, will try to go. Try to hand the inside route, inside but the inside for the running back. And if Dupree bites in, Lamar will take it out. And if Dupree stays wide, that's what TJ Watt is not only smart. I'm not saying that that Dupree's done, but TJ Watt is also a freakish athletic dude. And like Tony was saying, he has strength. Dupree has strength, but he does rely a lot on speed. And the thing with you rely only on speed is you go with a very first quick instinct. TJ Watt is way more disciplined, in my opinion, watching the Steelers than Dupree. So I think they're going to test Dupree more than TJ Watt. Now,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think going to the outside and watching last year's game. See, I thought the same thing as you. I thought that, this is going to be a game about going outside and trying to spread the Steeler defense sideline to sideline. In watching this game last year, I was surprised at how much success the Ravens had running at the Steeler defense. And this is a Steeler defense that's going to be playing on today. That's not a whole lot different than what it was last year, because Tuitt played in this game last year. This is before his season-long injury. So I was surprised at how much they had success running straight at, basically, running up the middle on this Steeler defense. Not something I don't know that the Steelers are going to be as susceptible to that this year, but last year, certainly the Ravens had a ton of success at running straight at this defense. When they tried to go outside is when they had the majority of their problems. And I was, like you, I was surprised to see that. Yeah,
and I think the reason is because I went back also and watched some of the tape. I think the reason is their defense was so concerned with Lamar, and they knew if Lamar was going to go out, right, that they were like everybody in the read option getting froze. And then when Lamar was pulling, they were almost like cheating to that plays. The Ravens did that last year extremely well. This year they haven't had that much success. But look, let's flip it to the other side. Right? Yeah. Because we've been here for 17 minutes roughly talking about that side. I want to see the other side. Because I do think the Ravens upgraded on D-line. The Ravens have a very strong defensive line now. Yeah. Big baby in the middle. Great nose tackle. Not as good as your boy, but great nose tackle, especially against the run. Calais Campbell, Pro Bowler every year. Last week, he had a hell of a game. And now Derek Wolfe used to be that 3. He might be when they kick Giannis outside. They might put Giannis inside. I'm not sure how they're gonna use Giannis yet. I think they're gonna try to make him the wide technique, right? Or the Sam maybe. Because the thing with me, this is what I have been saying about Giannis is Giannis plays very well at the end 4-3. Well, we don't play 4-3. Right. So when we do pass rush, yes, you're gonna see him there, hand in the dirt. That's fine. But on the normal play, because you can just bring Giannis just do rushing unless you're going to kick him inside. So, right. But even saying that, Yannick Ngakoue, he has been, or he brings to the Ravens a level that we haven't had since Elite Suggs or Doomer, right? Yeah. So saying that, if the Ravens can create pressure to the Steelers without blitzing, I'm going to tell you this right now, Tony. I think the game is over. Because I think then the corners are there to match up, which I told you before. But not only that, now you have extra people out there to clog any lanes for any quick pass, and you can have the safety over the top. On the other hand, if the Ravens only generate pressure or blitz, I do think that the Ravens have enough corners to slow them down, but you can't stop them. Right, the league is an offensive league, and the flags will start coming eventually, and all that. So I think Ngakoue's addition is really good. The one I know I kept calling Giannis. I'm sorry, I do apologize. But Ngakoue's addition is extremely important for this team. I think it brings the D line in another level. If the Ravens the Ravens D line can be a horseman of the Steelers D line. I'm not even saying for this game. I'm saying as the year continues. Yeah. Then we're talking about probably the best defense in the league, because let's say if the Ravens become the 3rd team in the league rushing the passer without blitzing, with that secondary, I think they're going to be scary. But your thoughts, Tony? Yeah. And how do you think the O-line is going to handle this Raven D-line? Sorry.
Yeah, I think at this point, the Ravens defensive line to this point hasn't proven to be a great pass rushing unit, right? And that's why they had to bring in Ngakoue. That's why they had to blitz so much. I don't know, though, in this game, when you expect Ben Roethlisberger to be getting rid of the football as quickly as he is, and I know the Ravens are going to want to press and want to take that away, but if you blitz and that's not taken away, or you blitz and you don't get there, and all of a sudden double moves are coming like you saw against Cleveland, I mean, again, it's a recipe for disaster for this Ravens secondary. So Look, this Steeler offensive line has been very good in pass protection this year, and Ben Roethlisberger has been very good at not holding on to the ball too long and to allowing Rush to get there. Ben's been sacked just 8 times this year. The Steelers have approached 8 sacks in a game this year. So I think the Steelers will be fine. I mean, look, they've played against dominant pass rushers before, right? They played Myles Garrett this year in Cleveland. He was, he basically had no impact on that game whatsoever. Yep. So, so is Ngakoue going to provide a threat? Sure, but it's not a unique threat, right? The Steelers have played against defensive lines like this that are dominated by one guy. I think the Ravens, if they want to get pressure, they have to bring pressure. But I don't know that they even want to. I think this is a game for them about making Ben think and making Ben hold on to the ball and not have his first read be there and play into the idea that Ben Roethlisberger is still a guy who, when he holds on to the ball too long, doesn't want to throw it away and is going to try and force the ball and get him into those situations. And I think in that way, if I'm the Ravens, I want to rush 4. I want to play press, and I want to play with a robber and say, hey, look, Ben, you got to read this defense. You got to make the right throw, and your guys aren't getting off the line of scrimmage. You're not going to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds, and we'll see what you do from there and force him into dumb mistakes, which we've certainly seen him do in the past. That to me, if I'm a defensive coordinator, that's how I'm approaching it. But if I'm the Ravens and I'm saying we're going to do what we always do, and I'm going to blitz on every play, we're going to play press. Well, then all of a sudden you have some problems where I think if your blitz gets picked up and you don't have safety up over the top, and all of a sudden Claypool's running deep and Washington's running deep, and you're getting catch and runs with Deontay. That's where I think the Steelers can have success in this game. So I'm interested to see how the Ravens approach this defensively.
Yeah, and it's not that I disagree with you, but the Ravens will blitz, and they love blitzing.
Yeah.
And different from Cleveland. Cleveland, we talk about this. I like Ward. We talk about this in the AFC North talk, but I think Humphrey is way better than Ward because the physicality. Ward, there's a point that a dude is fast, he's super athletic, but if you put Ward against Claypool and Big Ben throws the ball high, there's nothing Ward can do. Like if Big Ben puts the ball in the right spot, Ward can do everything perfect and it might not even affect that play, right? Humphrey is a big physical corner. I think he can handle any of the receivers, right? In the case of Peters has been physical since he's been here. The thing with Peters is he likes to look on the backside. Now, that could be good sometimes, and also sometimes can be disastrous, right? Last week, there was a pass for the Eagles. Then what happened was that Peters got caught by, looking, in the backfield, and he saw a Eagle, I don't know who the receiver was, doing a curl or a flat or out. Anyway, one to the sideline, and he like took one step there. He lost his man. There was a safety over the top. The safety prevented the touchdown, but I mean, it was a huge play. So I'm looking for the Steelers trying to see against Peterson, going after Peterson, seeing if they can get him in bad situations. Now, saying that, it's not like Peters is a pushover because Peters,
right.
After that, redeemed himself. There was a PI against the Eagles. There was a horrible call. I don't even know how they call that a PI. It was a 40-something yards. And this is not me bashing the refs because that was the only play. There was 2 plays, but I mean, reality is if I tell you there was 2 bad calls in that game, that's an excellent game call for the refs, right? Let's be honest. So saying all that, I think the Ravens corners match up pretty well against those receivers from the Steelers. But the problem that I have with your statement, Tony, is if we give time to Big Ben, the league tends to, go offensively, right? And flags will come and you will see a holding call here. And then that's the problem. So giving too much time, I would prefer them blitzing or at least bringing 6, right? So basically maybe have cover 1 and letting the corners there. And if the safety sees somebody getting beat, then goes to that side. But I don't want to give Big Ben time. Now, Big Ben is known for making mistakes, right? Great plays. But he also, I was watching the game against the Browns. And the little shovel pass that he did, that thing of beauty. Yeah, that against the Ravens can be problematic. That against the Ravens can be a pick 6, right? And Big Ben likes to take chances. And, usually he hits. But how worried are you as a Steelers fan? A Big Ben throwing that pick 6 against because we have ball hawks in this defense, right?
Yeah.
Not only on the pick side, but also on the fumble side. How worried are you? And before you answer, the trip, how you doing, brother? The trip has been awesome also in the
AFCNorth
North.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It is impossible for us to run nickel 4-3 with Judah and Ngakwe on edge and Campbell and Wolf inside when the Steelers go 11 personnel. Yeah, so look, I think the Ravens are one of the things the Ravens do is they're very unconventional. Now I don't know if you can say this about the Steelers, Tony, meaning we drop our D tackles on coverage more than I see any team doing it. And it's funny because half of the time works, but when it doesn't work, you're like, why is Calais Campbell 7 yards away from the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
Why is Big Baby 7 yards? Big Baby is Brandon Williams, 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And the reason why, guys, is because the Ravens or Wink like to just change it away out, right? They try to keep the defense on their toes. Calais Campbell should have gotten one pick earlier this year. He didn't. Marlon got the benefit for the bounce back. But look, if the Steelers go 11 personnel, I think what the Ravens will do is they're going to try to rush 4. I think this is a big game, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, for Patrick Queen, because they are going to ask for Patrick Queen a lot. If they spread out, Patrick Queen might have to cover Ebron sometimes.
Yeah.
Not only that, they might have I'm sure they're gonna test him covering the running back, right? So those two things are gonna be true. And Patrick Queen, other than the KC game, because in the KC game, if you go back and check my tweets, he was bad. He wasn't that bad. He was horrible. He was horrific. He was just. I mean, I said that you bench him because he wasn't doing anything right. Now saying that against the Steelers, he's going to be tested as being a rookie, and he needs to stay disciplined. The key word with Patrick Queen here is discipline, because Big Ben will make him look. Big Ben knows. Big Ben is a 50-year-old quarterback playing in this league, and he knows how to make people look away. So what do you think, Patrick Queen? So what do you think the Steelers will do to mismatch Patrick Queen's into the Ravens middle linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers are going to run a lot of they're going to run a lot of motion in this game, right? That's been a big part of the Steelers' offense this year. One of the new things that they've added in. No longer this kind of stagnant offense that goes out there in their formation and just call psych and we go. A lot of motion this year, a lot of jet motion, getting things, feeling like it's not a ton of misdirection, but feeling like misdirection, right? You got a jet sweep coming. Do we have to watch for Deontay over edge or Ray McLeod around the end, or even Claypool? They've run a lot of these Claypool easy plays for touchdowns at the goal line. So Queen's going to be tested in that way, and testing him going sideline to sideline. But also, you talk about Eric Ebron. I think, look, if there's a matchup in this game that the Steelers are probably going to want to exploit, it is not going to be on the outside unless Jimmy Smith doesn't play today. If Jimmy Smith doesn't play today,
he'll play.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Ravens, he kind of has to play because, boy, the injuries to the cornerback position in Baltimore is bad. I didn't realize until this morning looking into the game that Averett's out for the year. So. Woo! Yeah, that's where that's where all the attention is going to go if Jimmy Smith doesn't play. But I imagine, like you said, he does. So I think Eric Ebron against whether it's Queen, whether it's Fort, whoever it is at inside linebacker, if that's who the matchup's going to be, I think that's where the Steelers are going to want to have some success. And then if the Ravens ever come out of their man-to-man stuff and Juju, you can have Juju on a linebacker. I think that's also a very advantageous position. That's something the Steelers exploited a lot last week. It's why Juju had his best game of the year last week, is because he was on a linebacker for so often in that game, and they were able to exploit that matchup. So I look for, Eric Ebron, Vance McDonald as well. Look, Vance McDonald hasn't done much as a receiver this year, but he's still capable. And if the Steelers want to go 2 tight end sets and try to throw out of those formations, I think they can have some success over the middle of the field if they want to.
Yeah, this is also a big game for our safeties, right? The Joker has been playing fairly good, Deshaun Elliott and Clark. Now, one thing that is very important for Ravens fans to remember, going back to the 4-3 personnel, is that our Mike guy is a safety. So if at one point we just had to go all D-backs because the Steelers are just spreading in and out, Mike guy is a safety. So it's easier to take a linebacker. When your Mike guy is a linebacker, that dude is there every time, every play, every single second. So that is important as to note for Ravens fans there. Okay, as we're finishing here, because I know my boy Tony has to go, and I appreciate him coming here early in the morning.
We got some pregame to do. What are we?
Yes.
We're like 2.5 hours away. Yeah, we got some pregame to do.
I know it's just pregame. Yeah. Okay, so we covered basically the matchup. I think this game is matchup of the trenches. Who wins the trenches wins the game, and who wins the turnover battle, right? Because turnovers are big, right? Because you can win the trenches, and one turnover can flip the game, and the game gets out of hand. But I actually think if both quarterbacks are normal selves, right, and they're fairly clean, or if they both throw one pick, trenches will win the game. Who wins this battle in the trenches, right? And then the ability of the Ravens to run the ball and the ability of the Steelers to pressure the pass and stop the run. That is where it hinders this game. So Tony again has to go. Prediction time.
Yeah.
Let's go with prediction time. Tony, what do you think happens in the game? Give me your score prediction. Go.
All right, here's the key to the game that I was, I said this on AFCNorth Talk, right? I said, look, I'm going to predict the Ravens to win this game, but I don't know if I believe it. And the reason why I don't believe it is because, boy, when I look at this Ravens offense, it doesn't look the same. They don't present the same problems that they did a year ago, right? I mean, they're just worse this year, right? And I can't quantify exactly why, exactly how, because they're still putting up a bunch of points per game. And you watch this offense, and Lamar at times looks as dangerous as he ever has, and yet on a consistency basis, doesn't feel like they're there. So I wanted to quantify that. And thank goodness for Football Outsiders, one of my favorite websites, who puts together a bunch of numbers, and they have a good one. They have a stat called drive success rate. Drive success rate is a stat in which it measures the percentage of times that you either get a first down on a drive or a touchdown, right? Meaning that you basically didn't go 3 and out, right? That's what they're measuring, or you didn't just turn the ball over, right? The Baltimore Ravens right now in drive success rate are, I believe, the sixth worst team in the NFL by drive success rate. They have go 3 and out more than almost any other team. The only teams worse than them right now offensively are the Jets, the Broncos, Washington, Chicago, and the Giants. It's a very strange offense in Baltimore because it seems to be a kind of hit or miss, right? When they're on, and they're going to put up points. But when they're not, their drives are stalling early on, and it becomes a field position thing. And both these teams are the best in the NFL right now when it comes to field position. Obviously, Baltimore has a tremendously good special team. I mean, they're fantastic. Kick coverage, kickoffs, field goals, punts, right? They are one of the best special teams, if not the best special teams in the NFL, and it gives them good starting field position. Their defense is also very stout, and that gives them good field position. But the Steelers can say the same thing. They've had some good returns from Ray-Ray McCloud this year. Their defense gets a bunch of turnovers, which gives their offense good starting field position. Both of these teams have the highest starting field position in the NFL. The Ravens average starting from the 34-yard line. The Steelers average starting from the 33-yard line. I think that could be as much a key as anything. Look for starting field position in this game. Who's having their drive start closer to the 50? And does this become ever a field position battle of the Ravens are starting deep in their own territory, and can they work out of it, or vice versa with the Steelers? As I said, I'm going to pick the Ravens in this game. I just think, cosmically speaking, the Steelers have to lose. They just have to lose. This team is not going – sorry, Steeler fans, if any Steeler fans are watching today, the Steelers are not going 16-0 this year. They're just not. But if they win this game, boy, they could. They really could. And then for the Ravens, again, I don't know that I believe that all this stuff I'm hearing about how this offense, when it comes to 3 and outs, is just, is in the same realm as teams like Chicago and the Jets and the Broncos, right? This Ravens offense has too much talent to be that poor through this part of the year. They're coming off of a bye. The Steelers are coming off of a very tough game in Tennessee. This game means more to Baltimore because they don't want to go 2.5 games back to the Steelers. Whereas, for the Steelers, obviously, this is a huge game for them. But for Baltimore, it's bordering on a must-win situation. It's not reverse psychology. It's not. I genuinely believe, while I can't see it on paper, right? If I look at this game and I say, X's and O's wise, Tony, why do the Steelers lose? I go, I don't know. But if I look at this,
but you're picking the Ravens,
right? But I have to pick the Ravens because it has to happen. It's cosmic. It's again, this is bigger than football. Okay, the Steelers can't go undefeated this year. I'm picking the Ravens.
Okay, look, I'm picking the Ravens as well, but I'm picking it for different reasons. Not because of the Steelers cannot go undefeated. They can well go undefeated. I mean, they will lose games even if they.
Let me super chat real quick. Hold on, let me just put that in the super chat real quick.
No, but I was gonna say they can. I mean, they could, but the reality is, even if they beat the Ravens, they probably will lose a game somewhere. A strange game against I don't know what crappy team you guys play.
For next week.
Dallas,
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Washington, if you haven't played Washington, one of those teams, right? Okay. Saying that, why I think the Ravens will win. They're coming out of a bye. Max, stop it. Sorry, the dog is scratching here. They're coming out of a bye. The Ravens are notoriously good coming out of a bye. They got Ngakoue. I do think the pass rush will be better when they don't have to blitz, right? And that will help the defense. A defense that has been playing extremely well. If you isolate that game against Kansas City, this defense has been lights out. The game against Kansas City, there were so many yards against so many points. Obviously, that took a hit because I remember like the game after Kansas City, we played Washington, and after that game, we were talking in the AFCNorth about the defense, and you guys weren't even talking about the Ravens as a top defense because by any measure, we weren't good, but it was because the one game tilted our stats so badly. But anyway, I think the defense will come and play well, and I'm hoping / I think they're gonna do is exploit with the run. So they're gonna try to run inside. And something I forgot to mention is, yes, the interior of that O-line is weak, and the interior of that D-line is strong. And how do you slow down is run at them. Run at them. And because they're going to be worried about Lamar, and Lamar will have to pull that ball and run on the outside sometimes. So they can be honest and start always checking out Lamar where if he's going to pull to the Y and take a stretch, run inside, and exploit the matchup with the middle linebacker. I think that's the key for this Raven offense. Their corners are weak, and they're going to give up plays. But you know how they're going to give up plays more if you exploit that middle linebacker defense with the running back, with the tight end, and then the safeties will have to come and help. And when the safeties come down and help, then is when Lamar has to throw it deep and be accurate, and the big plays can come. Look, I think this is set up for the Ravens to pull mismatch on the offense against that defense if the O-line hails and protects. If the O-line protects well, it's going to be a bad matchup for the Steelers. On the other side, I think the Ravens defense matches well. Not perfect, but well. I think there's opportunity for the Steelers to exploit some of the problems the Ravens have. But if Ngakoue comes and they can provide enough pressure, Tony's favorite word, enough pressure without blitzing, like Big Ben thinks that he needs to get rid of the ball quickly, but you're only rushing 4 or 5, and also a big matchup win for the Ravens. Look, I said it in the AFCNorth talk. I think the Ravens win by 4. I think it's going to be Big Ben driving late and throwing a pick to our favorite boy, Marcus Peters. And I can't wait for Monday. By the way, guys, Monday's when we're coming back on the AFCNorth talk. Before we go here, that drive success stat is alarming. Play calling. Look, what I think is there's a bunch of problems. It's been play calling, but also Lamar hasn't been accurate, right? If we're completely honest with ourselves, Lamar hasn't been as accurate. And one of the reasons is not all on Lamar is the pressure is coming through the middle. And as I said before here, and I said it in the AFCNorth talk, pressure on the outside is bad for a quarterback, but pressure on the inside is worse because you're getting the pressure right through your face, and you're going to throw it bad because you're going to throw it quick because you're seeing it. But on the other side, when the pressure's on the outside, turnovers come from the pressure from the outside because you put the ball out, and that's when the strip sack can come. But you don't feel it as much, so your throwing motion can still be the same. Your delivery can be the same. When the pressure comes to the middle, it's not the same. And I think that is one of the problems presented right now with the Ravens. Look, guys, this game's going to be great. Look for me to tweet about it. Yeah, look for me to tweet about it during the game. Tony, do you tweet during the game?
Not really. Not generally, okay. Because I get very emotional, and you're going to say something I don't mean. So I try not to.
I get emotional as well. But hey, on halftime, remember, I'll be live streaming on IG. So you can come there. We can talk about during that halftime show. Anyway, thank you, Tony, for coming here to the live stream. I appreciate everybody here watching. Please give it a like. Please share the content. Don't forget, Monday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern, the AFCNorth talk. Hey, guys, thank you for coming. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
See you guys on Monday.